Every leaf is a tiny solar-powered food factory. Through photosynthesis, plants capture light energy and store it as chemical energy in sugar. This process supports almost every food chain on Earth and releases much of the oxygen we breathe. Let us follow the journey from sunlight to sugar, step by step. Photosynthesis needs three main inputs. Light comes from the sun, water is absorbed from the soil by the roots and moves upward through tubes called xylem. Carbon dioxide enters the leaf from the air through tiny adjustable pores called stomata. The plant brings all three ingredients together inside its leaves. A leaf has many layers of cells. Most photosynthesis happens in mesophyll cells, which contain small green structures called chloroplasts. Inside each chloroplast is chlorophyll, the pigment that absorbs light especially well in the red and blue parts of the spectrum. Green light is mostly reflected, which is why leaves look green. Photosynthesis occurs in two connected stages. First, the light-dependent reactions capture solar energy in the thylakoid membranes. Then, the Calvin cycle uses that stored energy to build sugar in the fluid around the thylakoids, called the stroma. The first stage charges energy carriers. The second spends that energy to assemble carbon molecules. When a photon strikes chlorophyll, it excites an electron. That energized electron moves through an electron transport chain. Its energy helps pump hydrogen ions across the thylakoid membrane, creating a concentration gradient. As the ions flow back through ATP synthesis, the enzyme rotates like a microscopic turbine and produces ATP, a usable packet of chemical energy. The lost electrons must be replaced. The plant splits water molecules into electrons, hydrogen ions, and oxygen. The electrons return to chlorophyll, while the oxygen atoms pair up to form oxygen gas. Oxygen then diffuses out through the stomata. This means the oxygen released by photosynthesis comes from water, not from carbon dioxide. A second burst of light raises the electrons to high energy level again. The electrons and hydrogen help convert NADP plus into NADPH at the end of the light-dependent reactions. The chloroplast has produced two energy carriers, ATP and NADPH, and has released oxygen as a byproduct. Now the Calvin cycle begins in the stroma. An enzyme called rubisco attaches carbon dioxide to a 5-carbon molecule. The unstable product quickly splits, using energy from ATP and electrons from NADPH. The cycle rearranges these molecules into G3P, a 3-carbon sugar. Most G3P regenerates the starting molecule so the cycle can continue. After several turns of the Calvin cycle, some G3P leaves the cycle. The plant combines these small sugar units to make glucose and many other organic molecules. Glucose may be used immediately in respiration, joined into cellulose for cell walls, transported as sucrose, or stored as starch for later use. We can summarize the process with an equation: 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water, using light energy, produce 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. The equation is a useful summary, but remember that photosynthesis is not one reaction, it is a coordinated series of enzyme-controlled steps. Photosynthesis moves carbon from the atmosphere into living matter. Plants use some of the sugar themselves, and animals obtain that stored energy by eating plants or other animals. Photosynthesis also replenishes atmospheric oxygen. Forests, crops, algae, and microscopic ocean phytoplankton all contribute, linking sunlight to ecosystems across the planet. Here is the full journey. Roots absorb water, stomata emit carbon dioxide, chlorophyll captures light. The light reactions make ATP and NADPH, split water, and release oxygen. The Calvin cycle uses carbon dioxide and those energy carriers to build sugar. In short, photosynthesis transforms light energy into food and makes life on Earth possible.